Good evening, Huddle. Okay, we're going to try again. Good evening, Huddle. Let's give ourselves a round of applause for being here tonight. Thank you all for joining us tonight for our weekly Monday Huddles, where we come to help and unite dreamers to develop, lead, and empower. Thank you all for joining us. We're so glad to have each of you, and we're going to have a very great huddle on tonight. We have so many different conversations and topics that we are going to talk about this evening. And so I'm going to open us up with prayer, and then Patrice is going to come and open us up with our scripture. Let's pray. God, we thank you for this time and this opportunity that you have brought us here. Thank you for safe travels on the highways, the byways, the subways. God, we ask for a very impactful conversation. Bless all of those that contribute to the conversation. Let us all be at peace and ease in these conversations, and we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. Now we're going to have Patrice with our scripture. Let's give Patrice a hand.
Good evening, Huddle family. So tonight's scripture is coming from Proverbs, the 2nd chapter, verses 1 through 12, the King James Version. My son, if thou wilt receive my words and hide my commandments with thee, so that thou incline thine ear unto wisdom and apply thy heart to understanding. Yea, if thou criest after knowledge and lifteth up thy voice for understanding, if thou seekest her as silver and searcheth for her as hidden treasures, then shalt thou understand the fear of the Lord, and find the knowledge of God. For the Lord giveth wisdom. Out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. He is a buckler to them that walk uprightly. He keepeth the paths of judgment, and preserveth the way of his saints. Then shalt thou understand righteousness and judgment and equity, every good path. When wisdom entereth into thine heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul, discretion shall preserve thee, understanding shall keep thee, to deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh forward things. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading, hearing, and understanding of his word.
Amen. Thank you, Patrice. That was a great scripture. Every week we get some good scriptures. Now we are going to have our chair and direct report by our Huddle co-founder, Miss Dominique Sharpton. Let's give Dominique a hand as she comes with our report for this week.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So as many of you know, our convention is quickly approaching. We are less than a month away for National Action Network's annual convention. All roads will lead to the Sheraton Hotel, New York, in Times Square, where thousands from around the nation and overseas, we're hearing, will gather from April 10th through the 13th for NAN's annual conference. This year's theme, celebrating 33 years of fighting for justice. Get ready for 4 action-packed days of engaging panels, breakout sessions, plenaries, and plenty of networking and movement building. As in years past, there will be a minister's luncheon, an awards dinner, and a women's empowerment luncheon, as well as appearances from the highest levels of government, including the Biden administration and congressional Senate representatives to city and state elected officials. Last year, as we know, Vice President Kamala Harris delivered the keynote address. This year, an election year, will be another history maker. Clergy, elected officials, celebrities, activists, thinkers, young leaders, and many others will convene for several days as we renew our spirits and strategize for the year ahead. Details about the annual convention, including speakers and a breakdown of the program, is now updated on our website at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. You can also register right there on the website, or you can call us here at the House of Justice, 877-626-4651, or just see someone on staff to make sure you're registered. But make sure that you register. Registration is free, but we want to make sure that everyone who wants to attend is indeed registered. We also are continuing our protest for DEI. For nearly 3 months now, Reverend Sharpton and Nan have gathered in Midtown Manhattan outside of the offices of hedge fund billionaire Bill Ackman to protest in support of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So on this Thursday, just as any other Thursday, we will be convening in unison to chant, when DEI is under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back. For more information, of course, you can see one of our staff people here at the House of Justice, or you can call us toll-free at 877-626-4651. Addressing high Black unemployment as the nation focuses on elections during the pivotal year, Reverend Sharpton issued an urgent message. Black and brown New Yorkers must not be forgotten. The National Action Network founder and president recently held a press conference calling on Mayor Eric Adams to hold a summit at City Hall to address high unemployment rates in the Black community. This is a moral issue, he said. It is imperative that we deal with outer borough Black unemployment. Speaking from East Elmhurst, Queens, which was decimated when COVID-19 struck, Reverend Sharpton highlighted the fact that many in the outer boroughs are still struggling to recover from the pandemic. Too much of the focus has been on Manhattan, he emphasized, and pointed to the fact that Black unemployment is 3 times as high as white unemployment in boroughs like Queens, the Bronx, and in Brooklyn. And it's just inexcusable, Reverend Sharpton said. I'll be back to talk more about some issues later on, but I'm going to turn it back over to our host, Brother Christian.
Thank you, Dominique. Let's give Dom a hand for that great report. And as Dominique said, we cannot stress, let's do a poll in the room again. How many people in the room are registered already for convention? I'm glad to see your hand up, Sabrina, this week. Just make sure, we want to make sure that everybody is registered. As Rev said, we do not want anybody to be upset when you cannot get in, because you will be waiting and sitting on 7th Avenue by yourself. And convention is live broadcast, so you can wait on 7th Avenue and sit outside of the Sheraton right underneath the flowers. But you won't be able to get in because we don't have no space. So in order to accommodate everybody, as they say in church, lottie-dottie and everybody, we want to make sure that you are registered, all right? So if you're not registered, go to the website, nationalactionnetwork.net. If you're in the building, register. And if you want to volunteer, make sure that you say you want to volunteer. I know that volunteer orientation is coming up this Saturday here at the House of Justice. So if you want to volunteer, make sure you see Patrice for any information regarding that. All right? All right. Now, we are going to have our Black History Fact read by Josiah Cayenne. I saw him as he was coming in. He is 20 years old from Brooklyn. So let's give him a hand as he comes and reads our Black History Fact of the day.
How y'all doing, everybody? Stephon Alonzo Clark was a 22-year-old man who was shot and killed in the backyard of his grandmother's house in Sacramento, California, by 2 officers of the Sacramento Police Department on March 18, 2018. The officers fired 20 rounds at Stephon and stated that they believed he had pointed a gun at them. However, police found only a cell phone on him. Sounds all too familiar. An independent report found that Stephon had been shot 7 times, including 6 times in the back. A private autopsy contradicted many of police's claims. One heartbreaking development of the independent finding was that Stephon's death was not instantaneous, and instead spanned 3 to 10 minutes. Some of his family members were inside of the home during the shooting. His mother agonizes over the thought that her beloved son probably thought that since he made it home, he would be safe. In public statements, the police chief said that the officers responded to a call of a suspect allegedly matching Stefan's description. Breaking car windows, helicopter cameras led police to Stefan's grandmother's home, where they confronted him with their guns drawn. They pursued him, demanding that he show his hands. When he did, one of the officers yelled, "Gun, gun, gun." In a matter of 3 seconds, shots were fired and Stefan fell lifeless to the ground. The officers fired because they claimed they felt that their lives were in danger. Stefan was unarmed, holding a phone that was mistaken for a gun. He also did not have any tools on him that the helicopter reports claimed the person breaking into the windows held. 1 year after Stefan's death, the Sacramento District Attorney announced that the police officers who had killed Stefan would not be charged because they had probable cause to stop him and were legally justified to use deadly force. The following year, 2 of Stefan's young sons filed a civil lawsuit against the city of Sacramento and the officers who shot their father. The city settled the lawsuit for $2.4 million. Way too little. To be distributed when the children turned 22. Stefan's mother, Saquette Clark, has never stopped fighting for justice for her beloved son and his entire family who suffered unspeakable pain and trauma as a result of his murder. His brother, Stevante, started a foundation called I Am SAC, which are Stefan's initials. His mother created the Stefan Clark Legacy Foundation to honor his legacy as a father by supplying the needs of other young fathers and their families. There's a gallery of photos on her website that have never been released to the public at www.stefanclarklegacy.com. On August 19, 2019, Governor Gavin Newsom signed the Stefan Clark Law Assembly Bill 392, which requires that police officers use deadly force only when necessary, as opposed to the previous law which allowed the use of deadly force whenever officers thought it reasonable. Sacramento now has one of the strictest police use of force laws in the country. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give Josiah a great hand for his first time coming up reading during that. And so, as you all know, the National Action Network continues to stand with families, as Rev told us, even from years previous. And the Clark family is one of them. I spoke with Stevante actually Saturday after I left here, and they're doing some things in California for Stefan Clark. He was telling me how last year they had a park renamed after his late brother out in Sacramento, and how they're doing some good things in honor of his late brother. And so we are going to continue to stand with the Clark family and with all of the members of that family as they continue to fight, because, you know, no day is easy when you lose a family member, especially when you lose a family member for no reason. In your own backyard, your own family backyard, just having his phone in his hand, and the officer said, "Gun, gun, gun." But we're glad that following this death, that Governor Newsom created the law, the Stevante Clark law, that stopped, unnecessary deadly force. And so those are just steps to fighting for justice. Of course, there is more that can be done, but we're grateful for the little steps that we take for ultimate victory. Am I right? All right, now we are going to have our NAN Arts and Culture and our Artivism segment by our very own Anthony. Let's give Anthony a hand as he comes.
Thank you, House of Justice. I'm always most humbled to be here. These two gentlemen gave me some news I just really found crazy. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. You mean to tell me in that amount of time you couldn't see if somebody really had a gun? It took 8 seconds in the movie Demolition Man for the gentleman to hit 15 targets. People just be doing stuff. It hurts sometimes, all the time, anytime you hear it. All right, I'm still glad to be here. I worked on this really hard after I asked about what people thought, and I wanted all the young people to like what I came up with today. So, without further ado, Janice Word, by the way, she has joined the arts and culture as a songwriter and a music writer. So I wanted to make that announcement. Yeah. So I've been practicing this on all the kids that I could run up on, and they said they liked it. So I want to see how you like it, and I hope I do Gino and Christian proud this week. So here we go. My opening statement: our goal is to make art with the purpose of social justice. Downstage center. A cloud of smoke for thought engulfs me. I want all of you to come into the cloud of thought. The transformer Bumblebee appears and transforms. Bumblebee doesn't have a voice box because it was ripped out while he was fighting for justice. So he uses the radio as his voice box. So he changes the station. You hear James Brown's voice. This is a man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl. He changes the station. You hear Busta Rhymes' voice. If you want more information, homeboy, then just read. You hear KRS-One's voice. If we are to sing, then let's begin to teach. You hear the song from Chubb Rock. Treat me right and I'll be good to you. You hear Bone Crusher's voice. We ain't never scared. We ain't never scared. You hear Dougie Fresh's voice. The only stars I know is in the sky. Didn't pretend to be nothing but Dougie. You hear a song that sounds like it should be Alicia Keys' song. We are here for all of us. Bumblebee turns off the radio because that guy just cannot sing, trying to sing Alicia Keys' song. The vision of Bumblebee leaves. A vision of a gentleman I met named Rev Gotti from the Bounce Squad comes to me. He says to me, yo, bro, some people just not going to pick up the Bible and read it. The only Bible they're going to read is the life you lived before them. Then a verse, well, part of a verse from my own song comes to me and says, this is all connected. The cloud of thought dissipates. I'm left to ponder what this may mean. So I say out loud, as we are here, let us share our best with each other. Study, learn, and share social justice. With confidence, be ourselves. Don't be high-minded as we create and live as examples to one another. I agree that this way of thinking is overall mentally healthy. So then, I let you all out of the trance. I'm at home, I'm writing. Oh, this is good. Oh yeah, we was outside, we was protesting. We outside? Oh yeah. All right. A jingle comes to me. Affirmative action, it's time to ride. We outside, DEI, it's time to ride. We outside. The young people told me, say that, OG. We outside, this our civil rights ride. We outside, no justice, no peace. We outside, no justice, no peace. We outside, no justice, no peace. Yeah, we outside. We outside. And that's what I came up with. Did I do better for you, Gino? Did I do better for you, Christian? Okay, the little flock said it was good. We gonna go with it. I'm gonna give you back into the hands of our host, Christian.
We have a lot of characters here at the House of Justice. Oh, Lord, help us. All right, now we're going to have our membership and text alerts. Gino, come on and give us our memberships and text alerts. Let's come on, clap it up for Gino.
Hi, everybody. Is everybody an updated member for the year 2024? Yes, sir. Have you renewed your membership? If not, this applies to you as well as those who are not members. The best way to stay informed in the action is to become a member of NAN. Stay informed about NAN events close to where you live. Text Justice followed by your state to 59769. 59769. And then every Saturday at 9 a.m., the rally is here.
Thank you, Gino. Now we are going to open it up to good news. Is there anybody with good news? Not announcements, but good news. If you have announcements, nanyouthhuddle@gmail.com. If you have announcements. Marcus Al, it's good news time. Oh, he's eating his fruit. 1 minute. Come on, Marcus Al. Finish your food first. Go ahead, Gino, while Marcus Al's coming. Go ahead, Gino. Go ahead.
I had gotten to my first high school choice that it's the high school I had picked is Urban Assembly for Maker Academy for tech.
Good. Give Gino a hand. It's good when you get into selective high schools. Marcus Al has been a character all day, so y'all just bear with us. Come on, Marcus Al.
I got good news. Wait. Okay. I got good news. The good news, I got to a new soccer place.
He said he went and started playing soccer. Am I right? Yes. Okay. Give it up for Marcus Al. If y'all didn't know, Marcus Al is a swimmer, and he goes every Saturday after the Saturday Action Rallies, and now he's taking up soccer. This is a very active kid. That's a lot of scheduling. God bless you, Dominique. Lord have mercy. Anybody else have good news? Nobody else? Just two people? Somebody else got to have good news. Go ahead. Okay, thank you, Anthony. Come on.
I talked with the family of Sister Ruth Johnson, and she was able to get on the phone and speak with me. So I felt really good about that.
That's excellent news.
This is I'm still a little fresh, so I'm a little nervous about it. I got a chance to meet with Councilman Yusuf Salam during the Black and Puerto Rican Caucus in February, and I stopped by his office today to reach out about a job offer. And but I found he was busy at City Hall, so I'm supposed to talk to him next week about a time to come in and see what's going on.
Good. Very good. And we're going to pray that he gets the offer.
So thank you so much, Christian. My good news is this is the exciting time for National Action Network, where we use a lot of wonderful and amazing volunteers. So our first orientation is going to be this Saturday with myself and Reverend Sharpton at 11:45. So I will definitely call those who signed up. However, if you know of someone who has a contagious spirit, who can deal with all personalities, we need you at the Sheraton. From April 10th through the 13th, we provide breakfast and lunch for you. But also, you help us make our convention great. So if you know that you have that in you and you can lend us an hour or 2 hours or maybe 8 hours, let us know. We'll be here Saturday at 11:45. We look forward to having you. And please don't leave here today without letting me know if that's something that you can do. All right, again, April 10th through the 13th, we're looking for you. You must attend 2 orientations and a walkthrough of the hotel, but I'll let you know all of that on Saturday. Hopefully, I can have everyone that's sitting and listening and watching be a part of that volunteer ambassador team. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrice. That sounded more like an announcement than good news. But it's all right. But it's all right. Make sure that if you want to volunteer, but only sign up if you have the gift and the spirit of hospitality. We do not need mean people down at the Sheraton. We have people flying in. So unless you have the spirit of hospitality, and that is a gift that God gave you. If you don't have the gift, do not sign up. Please don't. Some of y'all have nasty attitudes and praise. Okay, never mind. Go ahead, sister. Good news.
My name is Jenny Cordero. I had surgery on Friday and I had a good surgery. That's one. And 2, I am volunteering for Saturday. So.
Thank you. All right.
Good afternoon. Good evening. As usual, my good news involves jobs. And today, I'd just like to announce that the Attorney General's office is hiring. For those in the listening audience, the Attorney General's office is hiring, in this case, in the Division of Criminal Justice, but they're hiring in all different divisions. Please check out the New York State Attorney General's office as well as the city and other state offices. There's a lot of hiring going on, but you must apply. Not enough of us are applying for jobs. So please apply for the jobs and do not be discouraged. Thank you.
Very good. And also to add on to that, the New York State Comptroller's Office is hiring people with GED and high school diplomas. That is the first time in the state history that a high government official in the state opens up the ability for you not to go to college and still get a high-paying job. And the starting salary, I believe, for most of the jobs was $82,000 without a degree. All you need is a high school diploma. $82,000 a year without a degree. Okay? So to all of those that did not go to college, this is for young people. There's a lot of young people that are bright and geniuses, but because they did not go to college, cannot find a job. This is an opportunity for young people and even some older people to get into the second highest seat in the state of New York, and that is the New York State Comptroller's Office that deals with all the money in this state, all right? So if you have a high school diploma, Yes, I have the flyer on my phone, but that just reminded me. I'll print out the information in the back, and I'll put it on the table so that y'all can have it. All right? All right, come on.
Hi, good day, everybody, and God bless everybody. I'm so glad we're here together. My good news is that this year I've also signed up to be a volunteer at National Action Network 2024 convention. I've been volunteering since 2018, all day, all 4 days. It's a very exciting educational event, and anyone who's available, please attend. I've been fortunate enough to include my sister. She will be volunteering for the first time this year, all 4 days, all day. So she will be seeing Sister Patrice Perry after this meeting. Sure.
All right, give it up for Sister. Oh, yes. Go ahead, Tony. Tony's the last one. Tony, the last one.
Okay. So y'all noticed how much the Rev pick on me on Saturdays?
Oh, Jesus.
I feel like I'm the star of the joint. Well, the good news is I actually have now my first security guard to take care of me as a star in the Saturdays.
Oh,
my
Jesus.
God.
And who's your security?
I forget his name, but he ain't gonna leave me alone. I promise you.
All right. Everybody's a star in their own mind. It's all right. It's okay. Everybody's a star in their own mind. Give Tony a hand. He's a main character in his own mind. I'm glad he got his own TV show in his own mind. All right, now we are going to begin our Did You Know segment. Now, y'all know that I like to be prompt. And so it is 7:05. It says 04, but I'm saying 05. And we have 4 Did You Knows. So we're going to try to be expeditious in our moving. And it's going to go in this order: Mo, Christian, Dominique, then Patrice. All right? Mo is coming with our first Did You Know of the evening. Let's give Mo a hand. We haven't seen Mo in a minute.
Good evening. So before I read this article, just a brief information as far as jobs. So the district attorney's office in New York has set aside 35 to 40 open positions for District Attorney New York Youth Public Safety Council. They will work alongside District Attorney New York staff and community partners to plan and implement the DANY Youth Conference. Council members will make sure logistical components of the conference are executed smoothly and activities reflect the interests of Harlem youth. It is once a week from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., $300 for the 2 hours, and $25 gift cards. So after I'll explain the rest of the information, it's right at the Harlem State Office building. It's for Harlem youth. So just that. Harlem youth up to 14 and 19. All right, my Did You Know is why the words diversity, equity, and inclusion matter. In the intricate tapestry of higher education, where the threads of diversity, equity, and inclusion are meant to weave a fabric of progress and opportunity, we find ourselves confronting a perplexing paradox. The paradox of the words that are symbols of hope versus the actions that are symbols of hatred. Why have these once laudable ideas of diversity, equity, and inclusion become tarnished, whispered about in hushed tones, even deemed naughty words in some circles of the academy and government? Since the inception of community colleges, the vision of open access, seamless transfer pathways, and the elevation of educational standards for all segments of society have remained a beacon of hope. Yet, despite the purported offenses and opportunities, glaring inequities persist in educational attainment and workforce placement, particularly for students of color. Privileges abound for some, while barriers loom large for others. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 stands as a testament to the struggle of equality, outlawing discrimination, and opening doors for people of color to work, learn, and dream freely. Yet, here we are in the year 2024, witnessing political leaders across the nation chipping away at the very foundations laid by this pivotal legislation. The principles enshrined within the Civil Rights Act are under siege, and the battle for equity rages on. An erosion on many fronts. On college campuses of intellectual inquiry and societal progress, the concept of academic freedom should reign supreme. Yet faculty members who dare to champion diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives find themselves under attack. Their efforts to nurture the generation of leaders for a democratic society are met with resistance and scorn. Even staff members who spearheaded transformative equity efforts on college campuses are finding themselves out of a job. Their commitment to diversity and equitable outcomes deemed expendable in the eyes of some. The irony is horrific. Professionals are losing their livelihoods precisely because their endeavors have led to greater inclusivity and fairness within their institutions. But the assault on diversity, equity, and inclusion doesn't stop there. In some states, these principles are being criminalized, further eroding the protections of academic freedom. Regional accreditation bodies, once allies in the pursuit of educational excellence, are hamstrung by state laws that undermine their authority and effectiveness. The question that hangs in the air is this: what isn't considered offensive these days? The voice of the people of color, historically marginalized and silenced or drowned out by the clamor of the dominant majority. And when those in power take offense, consequences swiftly follow, as seen in the many recent cases. In this climate of uncertainty and hostility, it is imperative that we reaffirm our commitment to the principles of diversity, equity, and inclusion. These are not mere buzzwords to be discarded at whim. They are very pillars upon which a just and equitable society is built. It is time for higher education to reclaim its role as a beacon of progress, enlightenment, and a champion of diversity in all its forms. Only then can we hope to transcend the divisions that threaten to tear us apart and forge a future where every voice is heard and every individual is valued. America has one of the greatest higher education systems in the world. Let's make it one that supports all, no matter their race, sexual orientation, political affiliation, socioeconomic background. Let us continue our quest for those who are often scorned and disadvantaged in our society. As stated by Jesse Jackson, inclusion is not about political correctness, it's the key to growth. So for those who, one of my questions is, for those who have been attending the DEI protests on Thursdays, this is for anybody that attends. How has it grown? How have you seen it grown? And how much of an effect do you think that it's taken, and how does it make you feel? Me personally, we've been getting calls since this has begun. We've been getting a lot of calls here during the week from people who work on college campuses or at schools, and they literally work as the DEI coordinator or the DEI manager, and they're being like, for example, this one woman we're helping now, she's at a school down called the LaGuardia School. Is on Wall Street, and it's mainly kids who are children of stockbrokers and lawyers that go to this school. And it's from kindergarten up until senior year in high school that they serve. She is head of DEI, a black woman. She's 42 years old, and she's constantly getting secret letters on the wall of the building calling her anti-Semitic. And she's not at all. The woman came here. Well, Debbie and Mike is not here, but we've met her. She came here. She now walks with a heart pace monitor because she has anxiety of going to the school every day and getting a sticky pad of calling her anti-Semitic, calling her the N-word. And one of the people that are on the faculty of this school happens to be a famous film producer who testified in the Harvey Weinstein case, supporting Harvey Weinstein. He's a famous man. His last name is Felder. I believe it's Christopher Felder. He's a Hollywood filmmaker, very famous, and he's on the faculty, on the board of this school. And he sends her threatening letters that she should leave. He's called out her name, and she believes it's him who's sending these, anti-Semitic sticky pad accusation. So as far as this DEI is going on, what have you seen? What has taken effect that you've come across, and how does it make you feel? And do you really feel it slipping away slowly and slowly? Because down in the South, we know what's going on. Now it's in New York and cities like LA, and this DEI is becoming really risky. So as far as NAN is involved, how do you feel we're being effective in this situation, and how do you feel about it overall as you attend these protests every Thursday? Oh, you do.
So while I'm at the protest, number one, the first one was kind of little bit of people. It kept coming, the line get bigger, and bigger, and bigger, and bigger. And we out there, and we outside. And we marching around, and those people walk by and they see us, and the bus drivers come by and they blow the horn, bam, 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 and the truck drivers will blow the horn, bam, 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 and the people come out the office and they look down and they walk back and try to find a little line out, and somebody's hating. Well, when you're doing something, somebody gonna say, you can't. Just keep on going, because it's gonna take effect. It's going to take effect. You keep it repetitively up, it's going to take effect. It's going to take notice. So I'm out there. I'll be in line. Shut it down. You ain't letting it happen. Shut it down. No. We outside. No justice, no peace. No. We marching around and around and around. I just wish the line would go the other way a little more so we could be long on both sides. And then we have some more people out there. And we can be out there and be strong. Let them see we have unity.
Thank
We're
you.
not afraid.
Thank you. Ms. Word?
Yeah, so I've been marching with DI Thursdays from the very beginning. And the numbers, the brother's right, the numbers were small in the beginning, but the voices were loud. There was a lot of reporters there, and the coverage was great. Reverend Sharpton, when he's available, he shows up. Reverend Byrd shows up when they're available. Reverend Marshall shows up when he's available. Ashley Daughter showed up when she's available. Dominique Sharpton showed up, but we're there. We represent National Action Network. And I took the time to look at an interview that Bill Ackman had after a few of our DI Thursdays. And I was waiting for him to come on like he did in the beginning. No, he's definitely softened his tone. And he has to. Because realistically, this is a diverse society, whether they like it or not. They can't change that. And if America really wants to represent the way the public officials say America is represented, it's an opportunity for anybody who's willing to work and do the best work according to law. So opportunities should be afforded. Now, if we think we're not having an effect, that's a big mistake. There's a lot of things that we're not going to know because where we are in National Action Network. Trust and believe, our name is worldwide on this issue. Worldwide.
Right, amen.
So we can't take for granted that we need to be told personally each separate incident of impact that we're having. We already know we're having an impact. That's enough. That's enough. Reporters came out last Thursday, so they're showing up. It's having an impact. But where we will really show that we're really serious about getting this diversity, equity, and inclusion is show up at the polls and vote for democracy. Vote for the politicians who really support people who are diverse, who want equity and inclusion according to law. We do not want to have a president who really straight out says he's going to be a criminal. We do not need a president like that. We need a president who's for all the people and show themselves to be for the people in the way they speak and the way they act. So God bless you. Let's show up at the polls and vote for democracy. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, voting is always key. My final question, pretty short, is being that NAN, we are the leading organization, the leading face in this whole DEI saga. Besides the protesters, which is very effective, is raising eyebrows, raising awareness. What are some other tactics do you guys here at NAN, members of NAN, think that we can do and put together to raise more awareness about DEI to the young people, the millennials, people, even the older people who may not be aware that this is going on? What type of tactics, whether social media, whether feet on the ground, flyers, like what are some ideas you think could be creative ideas that you think that we can do to keep pushing this DEI? Of course, the protesting every Thursday is great. It's amazing, it's touching, but what are some other things we could do to amplify it?
How you doing? I think we could write a lot of letters. There's a guy on Christmas that gets 400,000 letters, and he's not even there. He's a fictitious character. So if they could get 400,000 letters for him, then we could get 400 or 500 letters for DEI. You know, all we got to do is write letters. We protest, we write letters to every single person that stands against us. We stand up against them with letters and protests, and we can win. There's no way we can't win, because we are making a statement with everything that we do by every person that stands with us.
Thank you. Very heartfelt. Ms. Word, what do you have for us?
Yeah. I have the mic here. It's basically the same thing. We have to vote. We have to really explain how important this vote is. Letters, that's helpful, but if the wrong politicians get in office, those letters will be disregarded. So the only thing that is available for us is voting, and voting the right people in. Now, on an aside, some of these reporters can really be real reporters and ask politicians straight up, word for word, do you support DI? Get a straight answer from them, so the people will know where they stand. But where we're at in this news cycle, we know, generally speaking, that most Republicans have shown themselves to be racist. They have shown themselves. So we know we should not be electing these racist politicians. They are showing us who they are. And they want us to be basically afraid of them and even afraid to vote. We cannot be afraid. That's a tactic that racists use regularly. But we should be past all that okey-doke nonsense about fear. We're not scared of them. That's one reason why we're out there on DI Thursdays. We're not scared, but we got to show up and vote.
Thank you, yes. Vote, vote, vote. Vote or die. Yes, sir.
Peace and blessings. Yes, there's so many things that has to be done because this voting this day, the election is so important. This hasn't just started with Trump. It was going on a long time ago with Wallace and McGovern and them. They bringing us right back to where we was. So what we got to act really fast and unite the people. I was looking back. This place should be filled up, room outside the door, trying to wait to come in and get a seat here. You know, that's how urgent this is. What I aim to do, listen, we got to be more, man got to move more, got to get flyers, stickers on cars. I have a car, you could put Nan on my car so that I represent we got to be more known and out there in the street to gravitate. I want to see this place filled up with people. Then we got to, and I know things cost money, so look, we got to solicit all them rappers that's $1 billion millionaires to donate to Nan so that we can expand this place. They got much money. They not helping us, you know, and then there's one that's talking against us. So yeah, we got to get bigger donations, more people, information so they can come in so this could expand out the door. And, you know, I seen what racism doing. You know what I'm saying? I was born underneath that. It's so important to get together and let them know who Nan is. And that's what I aim to do. On my car, you can put a stick on it. I'll drive around with the importance it is to vote.
Thank you, sir. We'll get that sticker.
I just think we should get more flyers, social media, and the word out there. That's what I think.
More flyers, more social media. All right, ma'am. Oh.
I feel you should get a lot of names from the community, signatures from all the boroughs in what we want. That's it.
All right. Signatures. So some voting signatures, letters, stickers on vehicles down the street. So all of these things get done, but with everything, we all know it takes strategy. These are all great ideas. No ideas are bad ideas. Only bad if you keep it to yourself. So that concludes my DEI. Did you know? I'm going to put you back in the hands of Christian.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's give it up for Mo. All righty. Now, I'm the second person with our Did You Know? It is 7:22. So I'm going to try to be expeditious, but give y'all all the information that y'all need. So I have two articles that I'm going to wrap in one. So y'all bear with me because both of these articles, were a little touchy in the back, so y'all have to forgive me. But my two articles are on why even public health experts have limited insight into stopping gun violence in America. And then the second article is a list of mass shootings just this year in 2024. The latest mass killing in the U.S. happened last week in West Virginia. Were any of you aware of that? Okay, some of you were. The bodies of 4 people, ages 3 months to 90 years old, were found inside the remains of a burning house. A fifth person with an apparent gunshot wound was discovered dead behind a chicken coop nearby, authorities said. As of Monday, 586 mass killings have occurred since 2006, in which 3,045 people have died and 2,047 people have been injured. March 10th in Honolulu, a woman and 3 children ages 10, 12, and 17 were fatally stabbed. In King City, California on March 3rd, the shooting that happened by some homes about where 14,000 people lived, which killed 4 people. In February, there was 5 people that was killed on February 9th. In Missouri, in Alabama on February 16th, over a dozen people were injured and 4 people were killed. That is just to name a few. And now I want to talk to you guys about something that I was reading in the back, which is what experts are having a problem with now, dealing with gun violence. As you all know, gun violence has exploded across the United States in recent years. From mass shootings at concerts, supermarkets, to school fights, which were settled by a bullet. On February 14th, gunfire broke out at the Super Bowl parade in Kansas City, killing 1 woman and injuring 22 others. Gun violence is among America's deadliest and costly public health crisis. But unlike other big killers like diseases such as cancer and HIV or automobile crashes and cigarettes, federal money goes to studying gun violence prevention. Gun sales reach a record levels in 2019 and 2020. Shootings soared. In 2021, for the second year, more than 48,830 people were killed. Suicides accounted for more than half of those shootings and half of those deaths, and homicides were linked to 4 in 10 deaths. Black people are nearly 14 times as likely to die from a firearm than white people. And guns were responsible for more than half of all deaths of black teens ages 15 to 19. Estimated gun violence injuries translate into the economic losses of more than $557 billion, or 2.6% of the U.S. gross domestic product. From school metal detectors to enhanced policing to the optimal timing and manner of safety storing guns to registration on gun sales and restrictions have limited scientific backing because of the lack of data. And let me tell you why. The reason why is because a study concluded in 1993 that guns kept in homes are associated with an increase in risk of homicides. It is also found that many laws have been created to prevent certain data to go forth regarding legislation. There is an unwritten rule in the 1993 law that prohibited from certain data from being collected on gun violence prevention. So, I have a very brief question. And that is, as black people living in America, gun violence is a staggering, and it is extremely high in our communities. Looking here in our own backyard in Harlem, in New York City, gun violence riddles our communities, and I will give my own personal testimony at the end, but gun violence is the leading cause of young people here in America, if you all did not know. It is the number one killer of young people. The number one killer of young people used to be car crashes. Now it is gun violence. Not only that, but gun violence is costing us billions of dollars. 557 billion dollars goes into gun injuries that are impacting us, which is 2.6% of our gross domestic product. So with that being said, as black people living in America, as black people living in New York City, how do you feel about gun violence? And what are the rules and regulations that you would want to see your legislators do to help prevent gun violence from in our communities? Because we are more affected than that of our Caucasian counterparts. Come on.
Good evening. My name is Crystal. And yes, Gino, I am a member. I'm not a lifetime member, though. So, some people are not going to like what I'm getting ready to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. As black people, we're going to have a black people's agenda. We're going to have that. We're going to have to, because there's a lot of money out there. Not a lot of not-for-profit, 501c3s. In Nigeria, they got some group that came up, this community, what is it, New York City Community Funds. All this money that's laying around. And so many of us are drying up. When I heard that this brother came all the way from Brooklyn, this young man right here. And then our brother Christian has this thing on his neck of somebody getting shot up. Our people are being, and the kid was just funeralized in Brooklyn. 13 years old, he coming home from some game by himself. When I was 13, we was in bed by 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you was asleep. Okay? And there was always something to do, you know, in terms of like, you know, people talk, oh, that was the old days. People took care of you back then. Your mama didn't have to take you to the park. You went by yourself. And if your mama didn't beat you, like my mother, she didn't beat us. But there were relatives that would tear you up. And stuff like that. And there was crime and drugs and all that back then too, but everything, it was different time. But getting back to what I'm saying, we need a black people's agenda. Because I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to say this and be very quick with it. All day, we talking Trump, 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 all day. They talking about Trump. Now, if we take that same energy that we're using to talk about Trump to figure out why all our kids are dying, then maybe we'll get something done.
That was good.
Okay, I'm going to repeat it again because it's the ultimate answer, voting.
Amen.
Voting for democracy, AKA Democrats. The Republicans have made it real clear they're being funded by the National Rifle Association, so they're not trying to control guns at all. Democrats want to control guns, but they have to control both houses in the government. We have to really keep it real. You can't even have an agenda if you don't have the government that will support your agenda. That's the reality. That's the reality. Okay, but we're dealing with, I hear you, sister. I hear you.
All right.
I hear you. But we live in a governmental run system. All right, so
Thank you.
the black agenda could easily
One
be
mic, please.
get out and vote and also take responsibility for your actions in your own community.
Thank you.
Because the reality of it is also, we know how to manage our anger depending on who we're angry at. There's some people who will easily get angry at me, and another person, maybe of a different size, shape, and color, could do almost the same thing I did, and they will not get angry at that person.
Jesus.
So let's keep that real too. So the reality is we have to really build our own self-esteem. If we have disagreements, do not try to kill one another for something. We have to take responsibility too. And that's a black agenda, self-control and peace. That's a black agenda.
Amen.
All right.
Thank you, sister.
But the reality of it is also, we have to vote for politicians who make laws that can actually control guns. Okay, also, when it comes to students, absolutely correct. Gun violence is the major killer of young people. Young people who are voting age, get out there and vote for people who want to control guns. That's a black agenda that will help a whole lot of people who are also people
All right.
of guns.
Thank you.
Okay, but voting is major. It's major.
Thank you, Sister Word.
We can't ignore it. God bless
Thank you. All right, we're going to try to keep it brief. Not only that, but we don't really want to shout out. Let people have their opinions, please. I know that we're very passionate, Lord Jesus. We try to not be so passionate here, but it just comes out.
I'll say by banning the ghost guns because half of the guns are, well, I think are ghost guns. And if you don't know what ghost guns are, they're basically like Lego pieces. Well, they're like Legos, and you're able to build it together. And it's like an actual gun. And then that's why they probably can't even trace, because it's hard to trace that type of gun because you're building it. And yeah.
That's good. Out of the mouths of babes. Come on.
All right, so something that I think. Something that I think could help, well, first of all, yes, well, I do believe that voting for the right politicians is very important. At the end of the day, even though we vote for people who we hope have our best interest at heart, politicians also have to clear through their own fair degree of red tape. Because there are a lot of things in place blocking them. We try to limit we try to limit guns in our community, but they don't want that. They don't want that in reality because they want to keep us killing each other because that keeps us down. And everyone talking about Trump and the Republicans and saying that voting Democrat is the right way. The thing is, it does seem like the right way, and honestly, it is the right way at this point in time, but in reality, we're choosing between a lesser of two negatives because at the end of the day, even though both parties present like they have our best interests, only person who has our best interests is us. Only people who have our best interests at heart are us. And we need to unify for ourselves so that we can put these safeguards in place.
Thank you.
Yes, I was listening to the guy earlier when he spoke about the brother being shot and killed. I was staying in the Baptist Church, 110th Street, with three other guys. I went to sleep and I woke up. Something was standing over me, and it scared me. And I woke up. I said, "Oh God, what is that?" And I said, "Oh, false alarm." And I went back to sleep. But that spirit that was over me went to the next man in the bed, and that man started going, "Oh, help me, help somebody, help me." I listened to him. I was so scared, I didn't say nothing. But when we woke up in the morning, I said, "What was that you were saying last night?" He said, "You started it," right? But at that time and moment, my son was shot in the head up in Troy, New York. That was my son's spirit standing over me. And it scared me, and he wanted to talk. He went to the other guy in the next bed and had him say, that was my son. But I didn't know it at that time until 3 months later, it coincided with that time that I see. So how do we stop the violence? We got to start reaching our children at a young age. 6 and 7 years old. We got to put them in cadets, you know what I'm saying? Army, military, schools, playgrounds. And we got to get them away from that rap music who's promoting guns and violence in their records and their songs, and we listening to that. I don't want to say nothing about Fat Joe that was there talking with Carmela Harris, but how did he get up there, what he did? Jay-Z and them, the money and drugs they made off of that. We got to hit them in the pockets where they hurt so they can finance schools and things for our youth at a younger age, man. Change the music around. Music used to have a message in the music, you know, down by the river. It used to talk spiritual things to us. This music that we listening to now is promoting a whole different thing.
Thank you.
So we got to get to reach the children at a young, provide things for them and teach them and give them places to go.
Prevention, that's the word. Our last two comments.
I feel we should hold accountable. I feel that we should hold accountable the people who make the guns, find them, and make accountable the government as well.
Amen. Hold them accountable.
Hello? Isn't Paulson, grandson, Yvonne Lee, how you feel? Blessings. You gotta look at history. Basically, Monica Lewinsky, they wanna say when Bill Clinton was doing his oral and take away the killing from in Coverso, when, huh? Why are you talking behind me in my back? Like, what's going on?
I was giving a message.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, one moment. We have one more person. I really don't know. Okay, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Emily Moore, and I'm from Roosevelt, Long Island, New York. And I'm a lifetime member of the National Action Network. And the thing we have to understand is that what you're saying and doing is excellent. This is the anniversary of Hubbard. Many of my friends who are lifetime members of the National Action Network, they're dealing with their homes, their mothers sick, and a lot of different things are happening. And I made it my business to get on the train, the bus, and to get here to represent the group that I know out in Long Island, Sisters in the Struggle, Breakfast of Champions, and Reverend Sharpton was out in Long Island last Thursday, and he spoke. And I heard Sharpton when he was 10 years old at Bishop White's church in Freeport. Your leadership here is what your Dr. and Ashley and Mrs. Sharpton is doing is tremendous. I was here I'm 82 years old. I've been here involved in the movement for over 50 years. You have it. Your neighbors. We got to go door by door to our friends and neighbors and say, you have to go out and vote. But we got to figure out the voting system because they may not count our votes. So they may not, who's protecting our votes when we go to the polls? What check and balance do we have from our leadership that our votes are going to count? I was saying to, I get a lot of information. I was saying the Electoral College is very important. You know, Hillary won the popular vote, but she didn't win the Electoral College. But Obama won the Electoral College. The Electoral College is very key. In our area, they gerrymandered, they're changing the power to vote. But we have so many churches in our community, and Reverend Sharpton has over 100 national organizations from California to New York. And I tell that story every day out in Long Island to my community. I said, he has built the base and educated the people and been training young people. I come here, and I made it my business to be here because when I go back home, I got a school board meeting tomorrow night. I ran for the school board my second term. I'm 82. They said, well, why don't you think you're too old? I said, well, when I fall asleep, just tap me and wake me up. But the point I'm trying to make is between the churches and our neighbors, we got to make sure one block at a time. This whole area where the National Action Network is, you got to make sure the store owners have a sign. We must vote. It's up to you. Take your brother, your cousin. Make sure everybody register. we're going to have to change the tone of block by block, street by church by church. All the ministers. Well, there's 30 ministers in 30 churches in Roosevelt. I got the list already. I'm going to make sure every one of them ministers know that we want their congregation and accountable to go out and vote. Okay, that's what we have to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and we always honor purchased that gun. He went home, everything was good. And he took that same gun and pointed it at the head of his father and shot his father. And from there, he took the gun, he went, stabbed his mother several times, and then took his own life. And just watching over the balcony were my two younger cousins, the twins, and his sister, who's a few years older than me. And from there began my moment of pushing me into gun violence prevention. And over last week, I went through something even more traumatic that I would have never thought I had to experience. 2 conventions ago, in the middle of convention, I got a call that said my friend Angie was walking out of school, walked down the street, and from 3 blocks away, somebody was shooting and the gun hit her 3 times. Left convention, got to the hospital, the mayor was there, board president was there. By the time I got there, she had transitioned. Then just last Thursday, I witnessed my own friend get shot as we left the building. Had to leave here from the House of Justice, got to the hospital. I was texting Ashley the entire way. They had revived him. I was upstairs. He was awake and alive. Had gotten shot in his neck 3 times, twice in his chest and twice in his stomach. Gun violence has taken countless lives over the last few years. Now every Saturday, I rush out of here to go to my, now they're putting me in my therapist because I do need therapy, trauma therapist, but that's another story for a whole different day. But just with all of that being said, I have already been in the gun violence scene. I just have never personally had to experience what I experienced on Thursday. But this is the life that a lot of people live, that a lot of people have to go through because of gun violence. And gun violence is a stain in our communities. So I agree with what everybody said. There are new laws that need to be passed on the federal level because we have done everything humanly possible at the city level and the state level. If you know anything, New York has the strictest gun laws out of any state. New Jersey, Connecticut, and California are behind us. But you know the states that actually have the most gun violence are Republican states that have the loosest gun control. And people say, you know, you don't hear about it. The reason why you don't hear about it is because they cover it up. So I don't want us to think that this is only a New York City issue. This is a national issue that needs to be addressed. And it is time for Congress and the president. The president has been doing everything he can. But it is time to get these members of Congress. Notice how Republicans are resigning every day. No Democrats have resigned so far, but Republicans are resigning every day. And now the Republicans are at, I think, a 2-person majority right now. because we just got Tom Swazi back in office. But with all of that being said, remember that our vote matters, what Sister Word said, what our pioneer here said, voting matters. Who we vote in the Electoral College will ultimately make the decision on who we are. Oh my God, that says 748. On who we are and who we will turn out to be. Am I all right? All right. Come on, Dominique is coming with our next Did You Know? Oh Lord, it's late. I didn't notice the time. It's late. Oh yeah.
Okay, so my Did You Know is about key facts that we need to know about moving into this next presidential election and how Black people are eligible to vote. Key facts about Black eligible voters in the year 2024. So mine is more of a real Did You Know because it asks a lot of questions that we as people of color, as people who are eligible, or some may not even be eligible to vote, but this is information that we should be talking about and we should know about. So the number of Black eligible voters in the United States is projected to reach 34.4 million people by November 2024, after several years of modest growth. Black eligible voters stand out for turnout rates that are higher than among Latino and also Asian eligible voters. So we show up more to vote than any other, people of color. Black voters could certainly play an important role in determining the outcome of key 2024 elections, including for U.S. president. In Georgia, a closely watched swing state, Black Americans account for 1/3 of the state's eligible voters. In 2020, 92% of single-race Black, which are non-Hispanic voters, cast a vote for Democrat Joe Biden, 92%, while only 8% backed Republican Donald Trump. Ahead of the 2024 presidential election, here are 5 key facts about Black eligible voters in the United States, based on our projections for 2024, okay? Not all eligible voters are actually registered to vote, okay? Number 1, Black Americans are projected to account for 14% of all eligible voters in the United States. 14% of the whole pot of everybody we represent. Black people represent 14% of those voters, okay? At the same time, the number of Black eligible voters have also grown. Between 2020 and 2024, the number has grown by an estimated 7%, which is a slower rate than among Asian eligible voters and Hispanic eligible voters. So, while we make up 14% of the entire vote, we're steadily climbing in terms of our eligible voters, how Black people are eligible or non-eligible to vote, as opposed to Hispanic or Asian Americans. As of 2022, about half of Black eligible voters live in one of 8 states. Can y'all help me out with the states? Where you think that the highest ranking or the highest percentage of Black voters reside? Huh? Atlanta? Okay, all right, these are good. We're talking about states now, not cities, so give me the states. Okay, the top one is Texas. They have the largest number of Black voters at 2.9 million. Black people can vote in the state of Texas. Followed by, you said Atlanta, followed by Georgia. Georgia is the second state. And then Florida. So at Florida and Georgia, there are about 2.6 million Black people that can vote in the state of Georgia and in the state of Florida. Oh yeah, no, I'm just talking about Black people in general. No matter, I'm not designating the party. I'm just saying Black voters are Black voters. However you vote, Republican or Democrat, okay? Rounding out the top 8 states, New York, 2.4 million black people can vote in the state of New York. California, 2 million black people can vote in the state of California. North Carolina, 1.8 million black people can vote in the state of North Carolina. Maryland and Illinois at 1.4 million each. 1.4 million can vote in Maryland and 1.4 million can vote in Illinois. That's a lot of people. All right, together these states account for 52% of black eligible voters in the whole 50 states and the District of Columbia. So just in those 8 states, we make up 52% of all eligible black voters in the United States with just those 8 states. All right? Just give y'all information now. Give y'all the information. Okay. The places, yes. I said eligible. We ain't talking about if they voting or not voting. We talking about the fact that they're eligible, which means they're registered and they're eligible. They can vote. All right. So now we want to talk about, so those were the 8 states. Like I said, there are 8 key states that have the most percentage of black people who are eligible to vote. That means that they have registered and they can vote. That represents 52% of all black eligible voters in the country in just those 8 states. All right? That's more than half in just 8. Okay? The places with the large shares of black eligible voters, we got Mississippi, 37%, Georgia at 33%, Maryland at 33%, and Louisiana. So we're talking about a lot of southern states. Regionally, more than half of black eligible voters live in southern states, 57%. So when you see people getting up talking about, I'm trying to make, reach out to the black voters, you'll see them demographically target black people based on the demographics regionally of where they live. So the southern states carry the most eligible voters of black people that can vote in the country. All right? Don't forget I said that. Don't forget I said that. Number 4, this is the 4th fact. About 7 in 10 black people in the United States are eligible to vote. So this was your question. 7 in 10 black people in the United States are eligible to vote. That's a higher share than among Hispanics and Asian Americans. Black Americans are more likely to be eligible to vote than some other groups because a high share are ages 18 and older, and an even larger share are citizens. So that's the difference, that black people carry more citizens than other groups in the United States. So that makes our eligibility even higher, okay? And then number 5, black eligible voters differ from the overall population of eligible voters by age, education, and other factors. 1 in 4 black eligible voters have a bachelor's degree, lower than the share among all U.S. adults eligible to vote. Okay? Another 34% of black eligible voters have some college education or an associate degree, and the remaining 43% have a high school diploma or less, compared with 36% of all eligible voters. So, what does that mean? You'll see these candidates get out here and try to do try to dumb down their words to appeal to black people who they feel are uneducated. Okay? That's the thing. If you don't believe me, turn on the television. So they are literally trying to target what they feel are uneducated, especially black people that live in certain demographics, because of the eligibility of voters that are so high. They're so high, 53%. 53% of eligible black people don't have a college degree. More than half. So, not to say that there's nothing wrong with that, but we need to understand when we say our power, our vote is our power, we need to understand that just by casting our vote, we hold a lot of power in this country. And based on the demographics and what has come out, They're polling this, all right? So they know this. We don't know this. We're walking around saying, man, I ain't voting. Oh, it don't matter if I vote. Voting don't matter to me. You know, my vote don't count. And they got you out in a poll that's saying, yes, your vote does count. And not only does it count, you represent half of the eligible voters in the country that can vote. That makes it more certain that our votes count. So when they tell you your votes don't count, make sure that you tell them, no, I came to Huddle, and Huddle told me black people make up 53% of the voters in the country. That's a large number of people. So what we need to do, we need to continue to spread the word in terms of how important voting is. We need to continue talking about how important it is. We need to continue talking about how important it is to have eligible candidates that speak to us and serve us, because our votes are very, very powerful. Thank you so much.
Dominic, you did that perfectly. I just wanted to add one part to that. She underlined how important it is that basically the facts, how they're counting basically weird statistics for them. But what they're also counting for is us not to vote. What she read was, and I love, who asked the question during Sabrina? I love that you asked that, because that was the point when I saw it. I was like, I wonder if people are going to understand the difference. Eligibility does not mean that they are voting. They are eligible, which means that they can. What that means for me, like somebody like organizers, how do we get our people to vote? If we're eligible, it's a lot of people who say, I can't vote. 4 years ago, me and Dominique Johnson, we used to be very, very aggressive in getting out to vote, doing these calls right here from the House of Justice, even canvassing the neighborhood. And a lot of people were like, oh, I can't vote, I'm not eligible to vote. Cool. But there's so many people that are eligible to vote. And there's so many people that, I don't know, there's a lot of elders that can't get to the polls. That's why it's a lot of that going on. They can't get, so it's a lot of people that have caravans and things like that. We need to be more creative in the places that have the highest voters. New York, I heard, there was Texas. We need to see how we can engage these voters. There's certain things, social media, whatever we have to do, if they don't have the information on the local elections, information is key. Information and communication is key in getting the vote out. If people don't know about the vote, if people don't know about the election, if they don't know who to vote for, necessarily the candidates, I understand that. But if we have the information, we need to help get it to them, including our chapters that are watching. So we need to do, knowing that we have so many black eligible voters in the nation, with that information, what will we do with it? That was the point of that Did You Know? Let's challenge ourselves to do something.
Ashley, come up here and say all of that. But also a good percentage of that number is young people. I can't remember the amount of young people on there as well, but there's a lot of young people that just turned 18. 2004, 2005 people that just turned 18 that can now vote in this year's election. And that are also eligible. So we are also, Ashley and I and Rev are already coming up with a plan to get to young people particularly. But we are going to get to the other folks. We're not forgetting about y'all, but we want to make sure that we get young people registered and out to vote. Am I right? All right. Now, I don't think there was a question or comment for that. Okay, okay, go ahead. It's all right.
I feel that Dominique's comment showed the importance of black people. It didn't show that we got to run out there and vote because our ancestors fought and died for us to vote. No, what she said didn't show that. What it showed is the importance of black people, because these people, whether they be Republican, Democrat, I don't care how much the Democrats is for the LGBTQIE, or I don't care. These people take us for granted. And I'm going to tell you something else. At the end of the vote, when you go to vote, you know who picks up the ballots and walks away? The police department. The very ones that shooting and slaughtering us, not to mention what we doing ourselves. They walk away with the ballots. And like I said, when I walk out this door, I don't know who got my number, but guess what? It don't even matter. I speak life into myself. I don't speak death into me. And I'm telling you, what she said, it didn't show that, oh, we got to help and get us all, we got to help and get these ballots. No, it showed how valuable as black people, and these people need us. This country, this whole world, it needs us. That's what that showed.
All right. Any other comments? Nobody else, because we getting ready to close. Teresa's going to save hers for next week. Teresa's going to start next week because Patrice had a really big article that I think was important. Well, it wasn't that important, but it was important dealing with Fat Joe. Oh, we can. All right. Ashley said we're going to do it. Never mind. Patrice is coming now with her. Did you know? It's going to get a little... Give it up for Patrice. We still got time. Your mama's looking at me, Ashley. Blame Ashley, Mom. Blame Ashley. It was her.
So I know someone up here earlier had a comment in reference to rappers and their influence. So let's see what you say about Fat Joe. Have anyone heard about Fat Joe, what he did recently? Oh, that's why we doing Did You Know? I love it. Fat Joe talks to Kamala Harris about weed laws. When the VP calls me, I stop everything. Fat Joe and Kamala Harris got together recently to discuss the legal consequences of marijuana possession. On Friday, March 15th, the rapper moderated a closed-door meeting with the Vice President, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, and a number of people who have been pardoned for previous weed-related convictions. The issue is stark when one considers the fact that on the schedule currently, marijuana is considered as dangerous as heroin. Harris said during the public-facing part of the event, marijuana is considered as dangerous as heroin and more dangerous than fentanyl, which is absurd, not to mention patently unfair. During an Instagram Live last month, the lean-back hitmaker insisted that works of his art stand by themselves, despite the politics of the people behind them. According to him, it's no different with the former president, who he openly disavowed. If you collect art, do you really know what Jean-Michel Basquiat was into, he began? Do you know who Andy Warhol was into? Any of these artists that was into it. They love the art. So you get it. I guess they separate art from the person. Now me, as a sneaker collector, the mouth of Fat Joe, I had to get my hand on the Trumps. You know, the gold sneakers he said the black people was going to buy, and that was going to make us vote for him. This is Fat Joe, who said he loves Kamala Harris, right? He said that originally. But listen, I have thousands and thousands and thousands of sneakers. When everybody flipped on Kanye West, I went and bought the 2 most exclusive Kanyes ever. He then clarified once again, I'm not a Trumper. I dislike Trump. I'm not voting for him. Not now, not never. But I'm a sneaker collector into the art. Joe has been a footwear enthusiast for quite some time now, and his latest purchase isn't even giving out pairs of his Nike Air Force One's Terror Squad collaboration to famous friends. And he even pulled up on former President Bill Clinton to bless him with the new kicks. He's an honorary member of the Terror Squad, Joe joked, while handing over the sneakers. But I love you so much, Kamala Harris. So many years you fought for the people. We love you. I'm a huge fan of yours. Thank you so much for what you did for us. But the mailman delivers, and he delivered the Trumps. So, as we see in this article, Fat Joe is saying that he stops everything for the Vice President, Kamala Harris. But recently he said that he had to purchase these Trump sneakers because he's a collector. My quick question to you is, do you think as an influencer that him purchasing the Trump sneakers sends the wrong message, or does it really matter to our young people? Give us your thoughts.
Okay, I'm going to start. Now, I made the joke when Rev first announced it. I told Goldie and everybody that sits in our little corner over there that I was going to come to a Saturday Action Rally with the sneakers on and see if Ray actually kicks me. No, I wouldn't actually do it. Of course not. But me personally, I am not a big sneaker person. I'm more of a shoe person. But I do like sneakers when I do wear them. And he did make mention of Kanye. You know, I have Yeezys. I like Yeezys. There are certain Balenciagas. Balenciagas are crazy, but I like Balenciagas. Yes, amen.
All right.
You know, I like certain sneakers. There's certain things, you know, it's nice, it's comfortable, all of that. But to be honest, young people are very susceptible to certain things. As we see, Taylor Swift is now popping all of a sudden. And she gave her endorsement of Joe Biden. But what Fat Joe did does have a statement with it, dealing with the sneakers. He did not openly endorse Donald Trump, but because I don't really see the purpose of him getting the sneakers in the first place.
Exactly.
So even though he didn't endorse him, what was your true purpose of getting the sneakers? Even though you're a sneakerhead, there were 1,000 other sneakers in the world. He already has 1,000 sneakers in his closet. If you ever really looked at Fat Joe's sneaker collection, he has a very extensive sneaker collection. And it's very good. I don't know how he got his hand on some of them. But they're very good. I love his sneakers, and they're good. And some of them are classics that I have in my closet, but he turned them into whatever. But anyhow, never mind that. But does it play a role? I think it does. But is it going to play a major role? I don't think so. He continues to support Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Now, would I go to the White House and strut in the White House in the front of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris with them on? No. But do I put that past Fat Joe? Absolutely not.
Thank you so much. Do you think the sneakers make a difference for voters, or do you think they even care?
Yes, I believe that when he bought those sneakers, that what he did was show a double-faced person, okay? It's like being a spy, because he could have been putting money into his campaign unknowingly, even though he might say he don't want to support him, but because he bought the sneakers, he could have been putting money into his campaign. Then you got other people that's followers that might say, well, Fat Joe bought them, so why can't I buy them? And then they'll buy them too, and it's like all of those people don't realize they could be putting money into the campaign of the enemy. So they better wise up. And as far as him talking about I'm a sneaker person, come on. You might love sneakers, but you got to remember where you're coming from and what's happening and who's doing it to you. You buying the purses, it's like you like rattlesnakes, and you gonna pet the snake that's gonna bite you and kill you. Come on. He's not standing for us. He's standing against us, and you buying his sneakers meaning that you supporting what he's doing. Come on.
Thank you so much. And just to know that on one of his interviews, he said he didn't purchase them, they sent it to him. So how are you on Trump's mailing list? I'm confused.
Wait, I just want to throw this out there. He didn't purchase them. He posted them on social media and made sure everybody knew that he had them. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, Jimmy J, wide awake. Listen, I remember back in the day, man, I had put cardboard in my skip shoes with holes in them. We spending so much money on these sneakers like Michael Jordan, and to be part of, you know, whatever the culture it is, by these rappers, our children are being influenced by them. They see Fat Joe doing something, or Jay-Z is them doing something, they follow behind them. Them Chinese, them sneakers don't cost no more than $6 made in Japan. You know, the quality of them is out, and we putting all that money into sneakers we can't feed or pay our bills or nothing yet. You know what I'm saying? And they influence that. Fat Joe was a person up in the Bronx, and I'm from the Bronx, man. Shout out to the Bronx. You know, I was born in Harlem, but the point is, we can't keep lifting these people up to the high. We can't be bringing them into the hospital. If they do, let them pay a costly price by donating to NAN. You know, I ain't talking about $5,000, I'm talking about $1 million, you know, to show your support. It's easy to say, I support something, but where's your money going? That's what it's about.
Thank you. And again, we want to know, does Fat Joe purchasing these sneakers or having them provide an influence to the voting of our young people?
I think Fat Joe made a mistake.
Put it up.
A big mistake by choosing to do that, because it sends the wrong message.
Talking to Mike.
it sends the wrong message. But on the other hand, what about the people who buy R. Kelly records, who went to see the movies?
Talking to Mike. Talking to Mike. Hold it up.
Okay.
Talking to Mike so we hear you.
It's a lot of things we could judge people on and what they do with their personal money, but we can't control that. But we can hold them accountable for it because he sends them a message. But you also gotta tell your parents, gotta tell their kids, don't follow behind that rapper. Don't be influenced by that rapper. You can't blame it on hip hop and Fat Joe.
Thank you so much. Let us know what you think.
Just by holding him accountable, don't support him if he does this. This is how you hold him accountable for his actions. And another thing, he bought those sneakers or he purchased those sneakers. He could sell those sneakers or auction them like art for a lot of money. It wasn't because of Trump. It was because when you buy art, that's money, that's power. Just like Bill Cosby, he had a whole bunch of art, and that supported his lawyers. He had to sell it, but he had the money to give the lawyers to sell it. So those sneakers are power, money.
That's good. Thank you.
Okay, I have mixed opinions about.
1 second.
It's very, very rude to have conversations on the side. If you want to add to the conversation, stand on the line and please add. But it's very rude to debate what they're saying while you're sitting down on the side. One mic, please. And let's support everybody. If you agree or not, let's clap them up. Thank you.
Yeah, I have mixed opinions about this action by Fat Joe. The first thing I did think about was he got a lot of publicity supporting Kamala Harris. That's big for me. And that may have been his motivation. Another thing I thought was, since he equated it to some type of art, and he is a businessman, one thing I did note, he's not going to wear them. And he didn't order them for his Foot Locker stores. So he's not adding enough money to this man's bank that's going to legal fees anyway. So another thing I thought was that Fat Joe's keeping it real. He's just keeping it, these are just dinky sneakers. Like I said, he's not wearing them. But he did get publicity for really making it real clear to vote for Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. So that's what I'm looking at. He's going to be an influencer. He know what he's doing. It's not about the sneakers, really.
Thank you so much. Come on and tell us your thoughts.
How you doing? I honestly don't think that it sways people's political opinion. More so, it's just consumerism. Something new and shiny is on the market, and if you are in the stratum where you can afford it, why not? People pay thousands of dollars just to keep sneakers in their closet that they never wear, that they just keep in a box for posterity.
That's true.
Yeah, people like there's the most expensive pair of shoes that I've ever seen that people can actually wear. The Back to the Futures. They're a pair of Nikes, $26,000, and some people don't even wear them. They just put them on a shelf and put them up there just to say that they have them. It's not a matter of political affiliation. It's about the shiny new item. And sometimes, and yeah, he may post about it. Some people be like, oh, because he got this, because he got this, I can get it. I mean, you got the money to get it, by all means, but I mean, but at the end of the day, that doesn't necessarily decide your political affiliation.
That's right.
Because you can buy what you want, but at the same time vote for certain people. Just the same way, like there are tons of people in the streets who there are tons of people posting on Instagram. Like this is just like another like people. There are tons of people who are posting on Instagram free Palestine, but yet they still order coffee from Starbucks. I mean, you can still buy from one and yet support the other, even though they're
Thank you. He said that. Drops mic. I love it.
I don't really know why Fat Joe did that, really, but I hope he did it for the reason I'm about to say. I'm hoping that he bought those so he has something to celebrate when Mr. Orange jumpsuit is in jail, and he can look at it to remind him of what happened. 'Cause that's the only reason why I would see he would waste his money and time to buy it, and I hope that's true, and sorry I'm so negative, but screw that guy.
Thank you. Come on, Jonathan, let us know. Do you think it will make an influence on the voting?
I think that Fat Joe, I think he was very smart, as the other sister said, that he got publicity, he was supporting Kamala Harris, and he was like playing two coins, two, sides of the coin. And I think he made a wise decision buying the sneakers. I think, to be truthful, I think that this country's in trouble because it says, when somebody hurts you, turn the other cheek and love your neighbor as yourself. And I don't like this country all of a sudden trying to hurt people in their pocket, because I don't like it done to me, and I don't think any of us like it. And we have charity, so we're supposed to never do that. And this country is getting to ruins. So I think those gold sneakers are really the best thing that Donald Trump did as far as all his other stuff, to be truthful. But I think Fat Joe handled it very smart and very wise because he's an artist and a collector.
Thank you. And remember, those are the thoughts of members, not of the organization. Come on, gentlemen. Come on, sir. Tell us your thoughts.
Voting, you have, is that L-E, y'all know the voting. Social media, sneakers, like he said. You got people who have 25,000 collectible items. They outclass. The black people who have money, like you said, Ashley and Dominique with the votes. They had to be with us, campaigning, the young ones, print out whatever school y'all go to, after school program, wherever y'all come from, Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island, wherever y'all come from. Give out the flyers.
Thank you so much. And Mo, come on and bring us home.
All right. I'm so sorry, yo. All right, let's rewind. Okay. All right. The PR firm tells Donald Trump, we need the black vote. SneakerCon is coming up, full of black people, flying out the PA. You're gonna make a sneaker. They're gonna buy it because black people got this conflict, young black people have this conflictual thing with liking Trump just because he gave us stimulus and stuff like that. So they're feeding off those. Who did that?
That was Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, thank you.
Y'all better educate the folks.
Thank you for educating me.
He actually made those loans take longer. He had them held back just so that he could have his name put on the check so people would think.
You better come on and educate the folks.
All right. And the child shall lead them. A very tall one. All right. All right. So the broader spectrum of that is people, even though he broke it down to the truth, the average young person doesn't know that. So all they see is Trump did something nice and shiny for black people. So Trump hops on the plane, drops the sneaker. Fat Joe's not the first minority to buy the sneaker. He's just one of the more famous ones to buy it. Anytime somebody in hip hop is in the White House, it's for a reason. And that reason has something to do with votes and counts.
Come on.
Even back when Eazy-E and them went there. So Glorilla was just in the White House. Why is Glorilla in the White House?
Talk about it.
For what reason? Huh?
I'm like, is she even a voter? Do we know?
Exactly. She a voter? Is she of age? Does she know anything? She's from Memphis. Not saying that she's ignorant or illiterate or anything like that. It's just that Glorilla is on the charts right now. She's hot right now. She's in style. She's what's happening. So what do their PR people do? Put her next to Joe Biden. They're talking about, Joe, things like that.
That's the case I fear for the future because they're going to put Sexy Red next to Trump.
Right. And it may happen. And say sexy red, sexy orange. You never know. The weird things like that. So let me just get to the point. So basically, like he was saying about shiny things, they're feeding off the ignorance of our youth. And in some cases, our adults. Some of our adults is, ignorant to the truth and what's going on as well.
Encompasses all generations.
Okay, bro. Okay. Yeah, so they're feeding off what we don't know, what we don't have knowledge of, and what's going on. When you see these rappers, Cardi B, whoever, it doesn't matter who it is, rapper, singer, whoever, when you see them near politicians of any form, they're being used. Fat Joe, as much as a fan I am of Fat Joe, he was being used. They used him because of his ignorance. They don't realize they were laughing at him while he think he was doing something prolific. And he really wasn't. You bought this man sneakers. You're rich. Yes, you're a sneaker collector. You didn't have to buy his sneakers. There's sneakers in your collection that's more expensive than those Trumps. They're ugly, they're unattractive. You didn't need to do that. Nobody else did it. Jay didn't do it, Ye didn't do it, Puff didn't do it. And if they did do it, we don't know about it. You the only one that went on broadcast and showed everybody you did it. So you think you're doing something for somebody and we looking at you like, Joe, what are you doing? What are you doing? What's going on? Joe is Puerto Rican and Cuban. So remember that. He may rap, he may be from the Bronx, but Joe is Puerto Rican and Cuban. He is not black. So I'll say that because there's people on the internet and the comments will be like, he's not with us anyway. You know how people talk on the comments. He ain't with us. He don't speak for the black delegation. He doesn't have a card to the cookout. All that crazy stuff people say on the internet. So my whole point in saying that, and we can rebuttal and talk after, because I know we need to eat, is that when we're being used, when those people, you see those people near politicians, just for everybody, the older folks and everything, it's not that's a great thing. It's a tactic. And it has something to do with the black vote and getting us to be like, oh yeah, we rock with Biden. Oh, he was next to Hove. He threw up the rock. He threw up Bad Boy. He down with Dream Chasers. Like, it's all a tactic. They don't care. They're going to throw us back to where we came from after they're done. They're going to fall through on all their promises. So just be mindful of that and pass that knowledge on.
Thank you so much. Everyone's comment was amazing, right? But the biggest thing is we could talk all day long about Fat Joe, unless we're going to those polls on election day and making sure that we pull the lever for the right person. And hopefully you're not pulling it for Donald Duck and his crew. You're pulling it for the right person who's going to help this country. And as they say, they use people as bonds. They would, Joe and Glow, they were making fun, but it's not funny because a lot of young people follow Glorilla. And depending on what she does and what she says, it can take effect. They can say, well, we're going with Glow because she went with Joe, right? But Google what Joe is doing, see his good credits and his bad credits, and figure out who you want to vote for. Hopefully it's not for the other man. Y'all know who the other man is. But stay in the know. Make sure you register to vote. If you're not and you're ashamed, it's okay. Come and talk to one of us here. We'll get you registered. But everyone must exercise their right. They kill people. They put people who have blood on the bridge still for those of us not exercising our right. So we must get to the polls, even if you write in Donald Duck. Write something. Make sure you vote. Make sure you engage in voting. And make sure you take a neighbor with you. Maybe a senior that you can take with you to the polls and bring them back. As they say, let's organize in all of the cities that Dominique talked about that have the most voters. Make sure that you're knocking on 2 neighbors' doors and taking them with you. And that wraps up my Did You Know? Thank you.
All right, we're done. Everybody stand. We're going home. It's 8:30. I know y'all are tired because I am. Did we have a good night tonight? Clap it up for the great conversations. All right, all hearts and mind clear, all bodies are still. God, we thank you for this time and this opportunity that you have allowed us to come together. God, we thank you for getting us here safely. Now, God, as we leave this place, but never from your presence, get us to our various destinations and find all things well. We thank you for the food. Thank you for the hands that prepared it. Thank you for those that would serve. Bless the food. Let it bless our mind, body, and soul. And God, we pray for your protection and covering as we leave. In Jesus' name, amen. Y'all are dismissed. Go.